My name is Ruairi Horn and I am the Marketing Manager here at Novum. I'm very excited by the range of speakers we have today, including David Fitzsimons, who will explain not only some of the pillars of the future store, but how retail has recently transformed into what David calls the new normal. We are delighted to be joined by Piotr Kashnishki, Sales Director and member of the board of Modern Expo. Piotr is a professional with over 12 years of experience in sales to the B2B sector and an excellent knowledge of modern trade in the international retail environment. He will be giving us a fascinating presentation on how smart vending is a highly important weapon against COVID-19 and will play an important part in the store of the future.
Some analysts warned of the economic and political impact of a pandemic such as COVID-19 as far back as 2010. I'm referring to the report, The Future of International Development and Technology by the Rockefeller Institute, which has turned out to be scaringly accurate. I want to share with you an extract from that report. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. International mobility of people and goods screeched to a halt, debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. So you might ask, what could be next? This month, Bank of America Merrill Lynch issued another such report on how various forces of change will shape the world going forward. Taking an extract from that report, coronavirus is the economic, political and psychological event of our time that will drive disruption and transformation that occurs once in a lifetime. The major global paradigm shifts they point to are geopolitical and deglobalization. This is underpinned by a few dynamics that are happening. In particular, the deteriorating relationship between USA and China, and referring specifically to the splinternet tech war and the diverging approach to the COVID-19 crisis. See an increased focus on sustainability, social impact and climate change, which will be accelerated by the deglobalization process that's going on. With this type of unprecedented dynamics at work across the globe, I hope this webinar will give you a better understanding of what should be keeping you awake at night, or even more importantly, giving you ideas and solutions that should be getting you up early in the morning. Now, a little bit about Novum. For over 60 years, we've been redefining refrigeration technology for the frozen food retailers across the globe. Our purpose at Novum is to be dedicated refrigeration partners with a passion for excellence and driven by passion. We are bringing a game-changing, radical innovation we call Leap to the market. I believe it has the power to transform your business, like it has already done for many of our customers. Owen Lennon, our CTO, will share with you this amazing technology that will help you face the many challenges coming from the disruption and transformation that lies ahead. Thank you.
Very interesting insights, Jim. Our next speaker is CEO of the largest retail body in Ireland, who also represents Ireland in FIRA Global Retail Council, hosted by the NRF USA. I am delighted to introduce to you David Fitzsimons, CEO of Retail Excellence.
So I'll say two things. First of all, there's a perception across the world that because you work in grocery that you're enjoying COVID and you're enjoying pent-up demand and surges and all that. And that is not the case. You know, in Ireland, speaking to the likes of Dunn's and Tesco and whatever, it's been an incredibly challenging period. And if you ask any CEO of any grocery business, forecourt business around the world, would you rather normal or COVID with more demand and lots of problems? They all want normal. So look, I just want to talk about some macro trends that we're seeing today in Ireland and across Europe. Number one is home working is going to be incredibly prevalent. So you have CEOs of major global companies saying it's going to remain permanently. And what's that going to do? Well, obviously it's going to lead to significant footfall depletion in major urban areas where people used to work, Dublin, Cork, and potentially increase footfall and consumer activity in commuter towns and locations where people used to travel from to work. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to stay at home. We're potentially going to visit our local town, go to the butcher's, go to the grocery store. But we're going to be buying way more convenience, newspapers, cigarettes, lunch rolls, coffee in our local town. But finally, we're all social creatures and we all want to get out to the pub, to the restaurant. We all want to enjoy amazing social and shopping experiences. So the Irish retail industry, both food and non, and indeed across Europe and the world, we will get back to that at some stage. COVID-19 will be a distant memory, and normality will at some stage return. Exponential growth in online. We see that obviously in grocery in terms of slots available and whatever. We're seeing restaurants potentially reopening online where you basically can order a meal. It's delivered. We're seeing online changing to have telesales and chat functionality. So potentially in grocery, instead of just going online and putting stuff in a basket, there's an opportunity there for consultation, especially for grocery retailers that are selling non-food elements like textiles, homewares, and whatever, where there is a necessity. It's consultative purchase. There is a necessity to have a chat with the customer and talk to them about the fact that you have a new homewares range or whatnot. This is something for grocery to consider. Reservation-based retail, appointment-based retail. So there is a significant population across Europe today who are elderly or who have underlying medical issues. And I know we've done slots available for these type of people already, but potentially, and especially for non-food like homewares, textile, that kind of stuff, potentially we're going to see reservation only. We will see grocery retailers doing click and collect in a very, very sophisticated, efficient manner, which is you do your order. It doesn't go out in the van. The customer comes, they park outside Tesco or whatever it is in parking bay 7. And they've given their time of arrival, so somebody wheels out their shopping and off they go. This is the future. You mightn't be able to build this in the next 2 weeks, but certainly marked bays in a car park where people park up and to collect medicines, grocery, potentially will help serve a proportion of the population, and especially those that are a bit concerned.
What could the store of the future mean to you? There's a lot of ideas out there. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's IoT, facial recognition systems. Some of this stuff is good stuff. There's other stuff like zero energy stores, net zero energy. That's one I want to be involved in. We're working towards it. We've always chasing low energy, but zero net energy would be a good one. Staff-free stores. There's even things like crazy flying shopping trolley ideas. Some of it's mad, some of it's good. So the question is, what can Novum do for your store of the future? Well, we believe we've got game-changing refrigeration solutions for your stores. We have the Novum Leap technology, which by its name leaps forward in technology. And then we consider the customer of the future, your customer of the future. They're here now. They're the younger generation. They're social media aware and social media active. They're very climate aware and very active, very conscious of the environment. And they want to do business with retailers that they see as being proactive in looking after the environment. In this new world we find ourselves in, safety has now become a primary concern for the moment and probably into the future. Safety, contact points, contamination, people spreading viruses or germs or whatever. It's not just the COVID. And we've been looking at developing antimicrobial coatings for the lid handles on our cabinets, and possibly chest frame points where people may make contact with the cabinet. Also, the handles on the sliding lids, same thing, same issue. Contact on the chest frames, and to the future, maybe even automating the lid. So when you walk up to a cabinet in the future, move your hand, the lid will automatically open for you. no contact, no touch. And as you walk away, it will automatically close. Leap, and the store of the future. I'll just go through the pillars of Leap, as we call them. Food integrity is always one. No thaw cycles with our defrost system. You don't get thaw cycles whenever the cabinet defrosts. It doesn't defrost the food as well or heat the food in any way. Keeps your packaging dry. There's no moisture in the cabinet, no ice build up. It's completely frost free. Efficiency is another one of the pillars. We use R290 propane, natural refrigerant, because it's highly efficient, and we get 20% savings straight off just by using that. But it takes a bit of tuning and system setup, which we do in the factory here. We spend a lot of development time ensuring that we have the flow rates right, the heat exchange right, so the cabinets will be efficient and will live a very long lifetime. That coupled with the defrost system, the Leap defrost system, which saves energy, considerable energy in all freezer cases that we use or we supply, in that it doesn't take a huge amount of energy to defrost, and it doesn't take any defrost to recover afterwards, because our defrost system doesn't heat the cabinet at all. Serviceability is another one of the pillars. With the removable cassette system from Leap technology, you'll change the entire working guts of a Leap cabinet in a few minutes. Certainly under 10 minutes for most cases, no matter how inexperienced a person might be changing it. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a service technician. This can be done by somebody reasonably okay with their hands. Store staff can manage to do this by themselves with a little bit of, smallest bit of training. We always use long life, highly efficient components in all our systems, so that your cabinet will last a long time. We don't make that optional. It's standard with all our cabinets. Simplicity is the last pillar of Leap. We like to keep things simple. Maybe it's just me. I need to be simple. But we like to make it simple to install. So we deliver the cabinets to your store. You take them out of the box, plug them in, done. So you can do an entire installation in a few hours. Simple to operate. You just plug them in. They're preset. No tuning required. Don't need huge amounts of routine maintenance or cleaning or anything. And simple to service with the removable cassette. There's no need for huge service, certainly not in your store. Zero downtime in your store. We're having defrost issues with the cases, having to manually defrost them in the routines, and the staffing issues around all of that. They asked us to come up with a solution. So we studied the current solutions, auto defrost, heating the liners, melt the ice, and we noticed the huge impact it was having on the cabinet temperature. The products within the cabinet were being heated as well. And the energy consumption took a lot of energy to defrost any evaporator within any cabinet when it's in the cold chamber with the food and the cold air. You're fighting nature. And any huge impact of energy to recover afterwards. We said, we have to come up with a better idea than this, which is what we did. So the Leap idea was born, and it's taken, that was 10 years ago. To date, we have over 30,000 units now globally, and we've been refining and honing that technology for the last 10 years and expanding it into new products. We've frozen food specialists, the supermarkets, and now we have our latest full glass door upright, also using the same concepts, the same ideas, the same advantages of Leap technology. So as I said earlier, looking at the two graphs on the presentation, these are very important and key to why Leap technology is so much ahead of traditional defrost systems. On the right, if you're looking at the screen, you'll see one graph. Every one of those little squiggly lines is the temperature recording of one product within the cabinet, within a LEAP technology cabinet. You notice it's fairly stable right the way across. If you look at the competitors' graph on the opposite side, on the left-hand side, you'll see there's a very large spike twice in the graph. Each of those is a defrost cycle. Some cabinets could defrost 4 times a day, as you know. Some might be twice a week, 3 times a week. But every time they go into defrost, the energy required to heat all that air and all that product in the case, as well as defrost the evaporator, and then to pull it all back down again, adds a huge amount to the energy consumption. Here you can see a picture of 2 cases. Typical auto defrost system on the left, and the Novum case on the right, the LEAP technology. Completely frost-free, no ice buildup, no lost packaging, no damaged packaging, no lost product. For the uprights, the new upright, the new Novum Panama Green range, we used the same advantages, the same technology, the same learnings that we'd learned in the chest freezers and applied it to Novum's first upright freezer case. And we get the same benefits. But we also knew with this type of case, multiples of them in a supermarket, noise is always one that people talk about when they're thinking about changing to self-contains. So we did a lot of development work on keeping the noise level super low. Heat rejection is also another one. Everyone cites the extra load on the air conditioning. But with ours being so efficient and your heat rejection is directly proportional and directly related to your total energy consumption on a cabinet, ours being probably less than 1/3 of some competitors. Some of the competitors out there with similar size cases using 3 times the energy of our Novum Panama Green upright. So with the lowest energy, which equals the lowest heat rejection, and the noise level is virtually inaudible. Here we have the cassette refrigeration system I've talked about. In the larger Grand Cayman case, there's a 1 meter deep case, it's only 65 grams for $290. Most competitors, self-contained, will be using nearly double that. Our smaller case only run on 40 grams. That's 2 ounces in American. Same on the large Panama Green. It's only 65 grams in that as well. 2.3 ounces in each system. And in Novum, we've spent all that time and effort that I talked about earlier, tuning the refrigeration for long life, high efficiency, keep the compressor happy, and it'll live forever. So no loss of sales, downtime in the store is minimal. You'll do a store change out if you have an old store, and there's a lot of old stores, and this is part of Project Drawdown. You may be aware of, highlighted that refrigerant management is one of the key solutions to climate change, where the older refrigerants damaging the ozone, damaging the atmosphere, creating global warming. In these older systems, the leakage rate, according to the EPA, can be as high between 10% and 25% per store. You take a typical supermarket could have 4,000 pounds or maybe 2,000 kilos of refrigerant. They're losing 25% of that every year through leakage. In the worst cases, some of them only 10%. And I know there's retailers out there that have do a super job and are really on top of their F-gas controls and have that brought right down. But you won't get down to the level of a self-contained, hermetically sealed propane system, where our leakage rate is well below 0%. It's 0.00 something. It's so small, it barely even measures. And if you do get a leak, it's only 2.3 ounces. But the likelihood is very slim. So no loss of downtime in your store. You can change out a store virtually overnight if you needed to. Your flexibility, you can unplug these, move them to another location, plug them back in. No real requirement for service contractor, service engineers either. The cassette can be changed locally by any competent DIY, or even some store staff could be trained to do it. Here's a shot of a typical low temperature pack cases in a supermarket, where you've lines of full glass door, you've got chest freezers or coffin cases, all with the same issues: evaporator coils, icing up, and periodic case cleaning, a euphemism for defrosting the evaporators when they've iced up, or the drains have blocked and iced up and frozen. So that issue's gone. You can replace that whole pack, and the plant room up on the roof, condensers out on the roof, plant room elsewhere, miles of pipe work in the store. Eliminate it all virtually overnight and wheel in Panama Greens and Grand Cayman or other Novum cases. With the lowest energy, you can get an upright 3-door using 18.5 kilowatts in store. That's 6 kilowatts per door. Check out what your consumption is in your own stores. The Grand Cayman, typically 4.1 kilowatts per day, including lighting. So your lowest capex costs and installation costs. You don't have half a dozen trades involved. You've literally just got to wheel them in, plug them in, and they're done. Your lowest energy costs, so your long-term costs, you're going to pay back the capex in this in months, and your service costs are gone. So, Novum, Leap Refrigeration, the refrigeration of the future. Available now.
Of course, it is hard to predict the future, but there is one thing that we can be sure of, and it's a change. Moving on, let's discuss current changes in the global retail. We analyzed many of the trends, and I chose only 5 of them, which in my opinions are the most disruptive at the moment. All these trends can be applied to actually all the segments of the market, starting with grocery, through non-food retail, fashion, or health and beauty. The first of the trends is omnichannel. In the past, before COVID, we started to adapt this technology. We started to slowly going online, testing different solutions, but when the outbreak started, all the retailers actually suffered from lack of offline sales, and they started boosting e-commerce implementation. They actually tried to embrace the click and collect business models, and they actually started succeeding it. The second of the trend was focusing on environment. In the past, before the coronavirus, we actually were focusing on going green, on eco packaging, on local sourcing, and I think this will still stay as it is. But now, on top of that, we actually started focusing on going clean. The third trend is actually frictionless experience. Before COVID, shoppers' journey was losing friction, and it was driven by consumer needs. Shoppers needed to do the shopping fast, without any obstacles, without any slowdowns. Now they still want to do it, but now it is necessary to measure the safety. Consumers' needs need to be unchanged, even with the extra safety that must be taken into account. The next one is on-demand immediacy. What does it mean? In the past, consumers were focused on convenience, speed, and accessibility prior to pandemic. Now, convenience still is in mind of customers, but they need to have and they expect to have the main products at home. And it's like products, I mean like toilet paper, rice, and some basic food that need to be. The final trend is in-person interaction. In the past, before COVID, as many reports say, 75% of customers wanted more human interaction because the technology became more and more invasive towards them. Now, because of the social distancing, they are a little bit afraid of other people. Only 40% of customers feel safe going to the store. What we can do? First of all, we should build a future strategy which includes cases like the one that we experience right now. We should definitely embrace digital technologies, and if someone does not invest in the technology like that, in omni-channel, most likely the retailer will be left behind others. We should focus more on local strategies. We should think about finding reliable local partners. We should be more socially responsible for people who are around us. We should definitely focus on last mile delivery and provide or propose our customers different solutions to being able to provide deliveries to their homes. The situation, the technologies that we have right now, like parcel terminals, can significantly reduce the carbon emission of the traditional deliveries. And last but not least, we should focus on sustainability. We must make sure that we are using the right resources and we are not wasting many of them. A good example is to implement an eco-friendly refrigerant or airflow technology for more efficient usage of energy in cooling equipment like our friends in Novum are doing at the moment. What are the additional opportunities beyond typical standard parcel terminal is when we focus on safety. We can integrate it with phone application so that you don't need to touch any touchscreen or the keypads. We can integrate sanitizing stations, which we also have in our offer, to distribute next to it masks or disinfection liquids. When we focus on grocery, we can actually integrate FreshBox technology, which will keep your products fresh. In our portfolio, there is also a very typical type of parcel terminal, which is a combination of refrigeration and a typical neutral box. You can, in this case, you can deliver fresh products, being sure that they will not go bad. Additionally, you can also focus on upselling. If you put next to the parcel terminal, if you put a vending machine and offer some impulse products, you can increase your sales by users, where you can actually buy extra bottle of Coca-Cola or a snack. In my opinion, the parcel lockers are highly effective weapon against COVID-19 and a great tool for retailers in digitalized world.
Well, from these insightful presentations, we should be in no doubt, but we're in a time of unprecedented change. We're hearing about bulk buying, big shops, less footfall in shops, huge increase in the sale of frozen food as people bulk buy and restock their domestic freezers. We're hearing about increasing role in technology likes of parcel tech from Modern Expo. We at Novum are working closely with our customers on developing solutions and deploying our LEAP technology to new innovative products and applications. My thanks to David, Priyat and Owen for their excellent presentations, and above all to you, the participants, for your time and interest in this event. Thank you very much.